I hear you going off on Maggie again, and I'm curious. Do you want me to react to your video, or do you want to just tell me about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do both. I'm happy to do both.
Do you think it's important that I watch the video first, or can you give me like a TLDR?
I think I could give you a TLDR and then you can get into the video for like more of like the actual example of what I'm trying to show.
Sure, I'm down. Wait, turn on your camera real quick.
Turn on your camera.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. Let me
yeah, because I know that you hate this bitch, and I love hearing about you hating this bitch. So let's hear it, man. What did Maggie do this time?
All right. So basically, Maggie made a post
Mhm,
on the Wuthering Waves. So I mean, I guess just for like some context on everything going on, we
mhm.
all know about like the whole Zani Doom posting situation that's happening currently,
Of
right?
course. Yep.
Where a lot of people are talking about Kuro Games is turning into HSR.
Yep.
This is the new Mavuika Sitlali. This is the new Acheron Zhao Kui.
Yeah, they're
Phoebe and
they're doing
Zani, when
false
they're
equivalency to make them feel like we're just as fucked up as they are.
absolutely right, they're
Yep.
going ahead and they're saying that like Zani is way stronger. Zani and Phoebe in her best in slot team is way stronger than every other team in the
I
game.
believe the number was
And the
15%. Is that what they're quoting?
15%
Yep.
from the misinformation that Maggie is peddling.
Yep.
So, right, we're clearly riding on the back of all of this drama that's going on surrounding the release of Zani and her perceived power level in the community, where people are saying that she's doing way more damage than like teams like Carlotta, teams like Phoebe and Spectral Rover, everybody else in the game, right? And Maggie comes out with these calculations. And we got to keep in mind, right? She just got bagged on by the community for openly lying about her violating NDA and then getting kicked out of the program.
Yep.
So she's coming off of that like a week ago. And then she comes out with this post talking about how Zani and Phoebe are a massive 15% power creep over the next strongest team in the game. And that Kuro is essentially, right? We're fueling this whole argument that Kuro's basically turning into HSR, turning into Genshin, ruining the balance. It's not even a year yet. It's not even a year yet. And they're doing all of this.
Okay.
And so I went ahead and I looked into the data and I was like, huh, 15% to me sounds like a ridiculous amount because this team, in comparison to like actually playing Carlotta and Jeja and all those other lineups, doesn't really actually do that much damage. And then we looked
I
into her
also
actual.
felt when I played those two characters, it did not feel like they were doing anything crazy at all.
Yeah, it didn't feel like I was doing 15% more than Carlotta Jeja. And
Straight
we've all
up.
tried that team. Yeah, that
Yeah,
team
that
is
seems fucking
that team is incredibly.
ridiculous.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And so knowing firsthand and, having played those teams a lot, I went into the data, looked at it, and then realized, huh, a lot of the stuff in her sheet looks really fucking stinky. And the main thing that we were able to sort of discern after combing through it was her timings. Because what Maggie does is that 15% power creep that she was talking about is based off of the average damage that the team will do over 2 minutes.
Okay.
And so getting the timing right is really important for a calculation like that, right? Because we're
Of
looking at
course.
DPS not over a rotation, but over 2 minutes. And it turns out she was heavily understating how long various moves in Zadi's kit would take to do, heavily understating how long Phoebe's kit would take to do. And essentially, because of that, she would extend the rotation, squeeze in more attacks than what you're actually physically capable of doing in game.
Can you give me an example?
So one of the things that she does is she puts in a 3 Nightfall rotation.
That takes
which
around
was
like what, like 13 seconds, 15 seconds?
Yeah, it's like 12, 13 seconds,
Yeah.
which she actually shows in her video is how long it takes.
Yeah.
That I haven't factually confirmed that. I've just been seeing that going around.
For sure.
But the idea is that when you do a regular Zani rotation with 2 Nightfalls, that alone takes like 7 to 8 seconds.
Yeah.
And then the one that she's showing on her sheet is like you're using a skill, which takes like 1 second to charge up anyways. You're doing a Nightfall and then 2 full attack chains in her Liberation, all within 8 seconds. And then anybody trying to actually do that in game would be like, what the fuck is going on? And so she's heavily understating the time. That leads to more damage, but it's not something you can actually do in the game.
So she's saying that these characters do more damage if you do this impossible scenario that no one can do.
Yeah.
Let alone the average player.
Yeah, let alone the average player. She's putting in, like, I forgot to mention, she's putting in swap cancels across that entire Zani rotation as well.
Yeah.
And when she moves on to Phoebe to swap to during Zani's rotation, Phoebe is somehow taking 1 second to do 3 basic attacks. Like
Oh.
she's doing 3 basic attacks in 1 second.
Yep.
And so that's being done like multiple times across the sheet. And it's just like, yeah, her excuse is that she's using like frame perfect cancels across the entire thing. And Zani just happens to have, I guess, a lot of frame perfect cancelable moves. But then she's just making the blanket statement that this team is 15% more strong, using mechanics that can never be replicated under any circumstance by any player.
So that sounds kind of stinky.
It does sound pretty stinky, right? And it would have been really easy to say that in like perfect scenarios where a player's playing like a fucking optimized machine, the enemies are never attacking you. Because guess what a dodge is going to do? It's going to force you to break whatever's in that rotation and add like an additional second to your time. The enemy never attacks you, and the enemy never moves too.
Does she state in these calculations that these numbers are in a vacuum?
I do believe she has like some sort of disclaimer at the top of her sheet, but when she's doing her analysis and breakdown and specifically showing her charts, none of that stuff is in there. And guess what's in her Reddit post?
What?
Just the charts and then the analysis and the conclusions and the breakdown, and none of it is like appended with a disclaimer.
Yeah, I will also say I've already seen 3 different content creators use Maggie's graphs to doom post Wua and state the numbers as if they're factual. Like you saw the Gabi Maru video, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was a fucking disaster.
Yeah, that was a fucking
that video
disaster.
was an absolute disaster.
Yep. Nah, bro was cooking something, but nothing edible. To be completely honest,
himself. Yeah,
I guess so.
He chopped off his own hand and put it in the stew.
Okay, so now I can see why this is very important to you because you just don't want misinformation to be there. Have you tried doing the Night Rain thing? You know what I'm talking about, the Zani combo? Have you tried doing that?
Oh yeah, I've tried it. Right. I've tried. I did like a short demo of it, trying it out, and I was like, "Yeah, there's no way any motherfucker's doing this in 8 seconds." It's like it's so ridiculously unfeasible to imagine that this shit is being done in 8 seconds. It's ridiculous. And I even tested out how long Phoebe's basic attack chain takes to do. She's doing 2 of them in like 2.8 seconds. You just look at gameplay footage; it takes you like 3.8
to do her 3 attack combo. Really?
No, to do Phoebe's.
Okay.
And like to do 2 basic attack chains on Phoebe, it's like what? Like 3.8 seconds. In her sheet, she's showing 2.8.
Okay, I'll have to test that myself. I'm actually not too familiar with how long it takes to do a Phoebe's attack chain.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is, right? And that's the thing. That's one of the big points that I would just want to bring up is that nobody knows about this sort of like intensive information. And so nobody's going to go into the backbone of like her Excel to actually validate any of this stuff. And a lot of people, right, that play, or I just feel like a lot of people in general, they're not like that good at like math and data analysis. And so when you just have like a summarized chart and like an analysis and a conclusion given to you, most people are just going to accept it and take it at face value
100%.
and think that's right?
Absolutely.
It's just basic statistics, and like, you know, there's always talk about how a population gets like manipulated through shitty statistics, right?
Absolutely, yeah. What is it? 70% of statistics are bullshit? I believe that's what people say.
Yeah.
Or even better, 68.2% of statistics are made up on the spot. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I feel like this is just one of the big examples of it, because I don't think that the average, and this is not like a diss to the average gacha player, right? It's just I don't think the average gacha player is gonna go in and like actually take a look at the stuff. But I actually have like a financial modeling Excel background. Like I know like how data works and like how to like read it and stuff. And I was just like, yeah, these projections are fucked up. And then you go ahead, you actually look at it in game, you have experience in game doing the rotations, and you're just like, yeah, none of this is sticking. I don't know where this 70% is coming from. But if you're somebody that's just from the outside looking in, you don't actually play like Gabi Maru, and you just look at the numbers, you'll be like, whoa, this is crazy. And I think that's what Maggie is banking on with this one. I think she's really banking on this, that no one's gonna go in and actually validate whatever the fuck she's putting in her sheet.
Well, you've interested me enough to where I'm gonna go skim through your video and see if I can see this. Do you do the Phoebe attack chain in video?
I do, yeah.
Okay, I want to go find that. Yo, Sen, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right, peace. All right, let's see this. We'll skim through it. We'll skim through it.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the rat is back at it again. It looks
Okay.
like Maggie is here to spread even more misinformation about Wuthering Waves. Because, of course, right, we know that this is a person that holds grudges.
We'll watch a
We
little
know
bit,
that
guys.
this
We'll watch
is
a little bit.
person that is in here with an agenda. They went ahead, they posted a video saying that Kuro ruined their career after they got caught leaking and were kicked from the creator program.
Let's see if we can
Takes
find this.
About 1.4 seconds. 2 Phoebe 3-hit attack chains takes 1.4 seconds. I got video showing what it looks like when I do it on my end.
Okay.
We're in the ring, right? In the middle of the ring. We're saying that all of this took 2.8 seconds. I've had people time this. It's more like 3.8, 3.7 at minimum. She's literally playing the game on the 1.5 speed. And I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, she doesn't do it right. She doesn't do it just here. She does it throughout the spreadsheet. And do keep in mind that all of these attacks are implying that you never need to dodge and that you're just inputting every single one. And the only time you're dodging is to do a dodge cancel to shorten the animation.
I do think, full fairness, I understand doing DPS calculations in a vacuum. I understand it. But to use those to doom post, I feel like is very ignorant because the playstyle in which you'd have to adapt in order to get that theoretical DPS is so unrealistic that I don't really think anything's too egregious. Now, I want to say, in fairness to Maggie, I understand what she's doing. However, I think it's people being irresponsible with her graphs that are the real issue. I'm not smart enough at Wuthering Waves to understand how horrible these graphs may or may not be. I think that's up to you guys to see. Maybe go watch the St. Todas video for yourself. But are people going to take every opportunity to doom post woo-wah that they possibly can off of graphs that aren't rooted in reality? Probably. But what do you guys think?